All right, you want to introduce yourself and your top placements and whatever else you want to say?
Sure. I'm Spread Coconut. I got 20th at Dallas One Piece Day with RP Luffy.
Do you want to talk a little bit about maybe the experience in playing, like hardest matchups or whatever?
So I kind of crafted this version of the deck to counter Dofi because I was expecting to see a lot of Dofi. That's definitely your hardest matchup by far. Outside of Bonnie. Bonnie is like almost unwinnable.
I lost it to RP Luffy as Dofi.
Yeah, everyone you have to counter what you think you're gonna see the most. So that's why I got the Rayleighs in here, or Shiomi, mainly for Dofi, and then just like some other cards too, just like the Rad Beams and the extra blocker with Cycle.
Yeah, cool. Let's go through the deck list. Let's see everything you got and kind of why you have it in here, or what it's strong for in the deck.
Yeah. All right. So I had one of the 10-drop Nika Luffy. It came up a little bit in my Lucci matchup. This is definitely a card that you could cut. I liked it at a 1. I could probably cut it now. It's nice to sometimes have an extra turn if there's like no other way you win, like buy you an extra turn. 210 cost Shanks. This card was great. This card's great in Dofi if you can early ramp out into it, and then all their bodies become 4Ks, and you're a 6K leader, so it makes it really hard for him to take your life down. 3 9-moms, you need this for Dofi for sure, so you can go down to 0, heal back up, and kind of make an unwinnable game for that when you can have a 9-mom and then hiding behind a gum giant. Get the extra like 2 9 Luffys. These are good because they keep the cards in your hand the same while also establishing a big body. If you're playing more of like a control heavy meta, you definitely want to go up on these guys. Cycle, Rush, you keep the cards in your hand the same, you're not going down with resources. 1 Dragon, this card was good when I needed it. I was on more dragons before, but swapped them out for Rayleighs just because I was expecting a lot more Dofi, and then with Rayleighs, you have a little bit more chance into Bonnie. You can kind of fight them for board while clearing their board while not resting your stuff. The Dragon was really good into the Blackbeard I saw because you can actually still play it and use the Rush. Yeah. 2 7-cost Sanjis. This card was great. I would definitely go up on this if I could find some space. The only problem is you have all this Dawn available early, and you want to use it. You want to play like big bodies, really big threats. A 7K isn't that great when your leader's already 6. 4 Beckmans. This guy was great. Beckman. So the way this build kind of plays is usually people play like the 7-cost kid, and they'll do a ramp on 3 or 4, get up to 7, and then play the 7-cost kid, go down, and then go to 9 the turn after with leader ability. But if you play Beckman, you'll go to 9, you can go to 10, and then you can drop a Shanks on your turn 3, turn 4. And Beckman also helps in your Bonnie matchup a lot. It's good in the Dofi because you just clear Boa or Weevil.
Free trash.
Yeah.
And Burgess too if you get on plays for some reason.
They actually do give you on plays early.
Really?
Because they want to keep their cards in hand. But I think once you're at 7 Dom, they'll probably stop. But they do give your on plays probably until you're at 7 Dom.
Makes sense.
Only 2 of the 6-cost Sanji blocker. I went down, I was on 4 of him, and I swapped him for 2 more 2-cost Sanjis. Because this guy, if you see Nami's a super hard matchup, so this guy helps in your Nami matchup. This was mainly for Blackbeard though, because Blackbeard, if you play 1 body a turn, they'll either stun it with the 10-drop or they'll clear it. So if you have the 2-cost Sanji, you can do something like Queen 2-cost Sanji, play out like a 1-drop Nami or something. If you can get multiple bodies on board, you can kind of spam Blackbeard and win the game through that way. And it's still just a 2K at the end of the day. Like, I don't think I played this guy out once.
Yeah.
Because he gets a lot less value in this deck because you're already 6K. So playing a 6K blocker, it's not like you're going to block and pitch a card with him like you would in like other decks if someone's swinging 7 at you. 4 Queen. Queen was really great. Wouldn't go down in this. You have a lot of bricks here and you need Cycle. So you can and the Dawn -1 is more valuable because like you could play Rayleigh now, and Rayleigh's like kind of the same, but the Dawn -1 is beneficial in this deck because half the time you'll play Queen, go down to Dawn, and then you can add it back with leader ability and keep that up for one of your events later. I put in 1 of the 4-drop Onami. I just wanted more Cycle and another blocker, and this was great. This was fantastic like all weekend. just to have more cycle, just to have another blocker, you know, in case they don't have perfume or something. 4 bond clays, like you need their ramp. It's also really good in the Shanks. Like you just drop this early against Shanks, and they're scared to play the 12 drops. There was one game I was playing against the Shanks, and he had a dragon on board, and I swung I think 3 times with bond clay copying dragon. So it's like it was in the 9K. I had blockers, he couldn't kill it. He swings on it, I just block with queen.
Yeah, I think it's really funny when they have a really big body. You just play double bond clay pass. Just like, oh.
I think he lucky rude blocked and killed the bond clay instead of like killing like my queen or something, like obviously more valuable because it's like the bond clay. But yeah, I just started off double bond clay against the Shanks. I mean, that matchup's already really, because you do everything Shanks wants to do but faster.
Yeah.
4 lead performer. This card is great. Probably one of the best like sackiest triggers in the game because you get a ramp and a draw card. It's even good just because it draws a card, so it's not like sometimes you will have the 4 extra Don if you're just gonna, like if you only have one queen in hand, you're just trying to stabilize in late game, so you'll play your queen and then you'll have 6 Don because you get a Don back. So then you just play lead performer and just cycle it and get a brick out of your hand, hopefully find like any counter, because this deck really wins by just having like just enough counter to survive and win out the game. 2 hits to die for. This card's great. It's really good into Pluffy and Dofi because they'll put out, if they go first, a lot of times they'll put out a 6K body. You play this on your 4 Don turn, you go to 6, and the next turn you're at 9. So you just super accelerate, skip the 7 Don turn, go straight into your 9 drops.
I had an RP Luffy at like 9 Don by turn 3. I was like,
yeah. And then it's like at that point, like if you can get out early, like Big Mom or 9 drop Luffy,
you just win.
You just kind of win, or just Rayleigh. Rayleigh's really good with that. If you're playing against Dofi and if they turn 1 flip a Weevil or something or a Boa, you play this. Next turn you have Rayleigh, and then you just clear their board. 4 Uso Hachis. This card standard, probably best Straw Hat 2K. Rest like anything 5 or below is really good. We went through the Sanjis. That was my reasoning for them. I think I would honestly go up. I think I would get rid of these and just put in 4 of these Sanjis just to make it just makes your Nami matchup actually winnable.
Yeah, I think if you're getting rid of 10 drop, you might as well get rid of the Sanji, because I feel like the only time you play Sanji is with the 10 drop.
Yeah,
like right after.
When you have like no Don.
Yeah,
I mean, you can always minus more off this Sanji and play him, but again, like playing the 6K blockers in this deck is kind of worse, and he's also keeping him in your hands valuable too. To just have a 2K in hand.
Yeah,
it's more Don efficient, and then I've got like a little bit more events, so sometimes you want to save more than just 1. Yeah. 4 1-drop Namis. I like having 1-drops. It's good to have stuff to swing into bodies. I think one of the games I beat against Dofi, I had a Nami on board, and I played Rayleigh, minus 2 things, popped his Teach, and then swung a Nami 2K into his 1K Jinbei, and he countered out. And then I was able to get game later because he saved that Jinbei.
Yeah, value.
You get a lot of value off 1-drops. You don't really whiff. I think I might have whiffed like maybe once, but you got enough Straw Hat names, you should hit. So more than that. 4 Giant, this card's busted. This card's the reason you can play this deck. You can cycle all your bricks, you have 4K, your stuff never dies. You can just play, you have 2 of them 1 turn, you're never dying.
Yeah.
And then I played 2 Rad Beams, just for some more survivability. And it's also something that you can play early. So like one game against the Dofi, I played a Bond Clay, I swung 6 into his Weevil, and I kept the 1 up for the Rad Beam. So then he swung, and I'd already taken a life the turn before, because you want to take the early life to try to high roll, because it's like it's countering out anyway. So they're going to keep swinging 6 and 7s at you, so you might as well take the early one.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then I had that extra Don, so he swung 7 with his leader and then 8 with the Weevil that was on board. So I was able to get out of the 8 with 1 card on 5 Don. But I wouldn't want to use Giant there because I was on 5 Don. I don't want to get rid of my Don early, but Rad Beam lets me do that, which was really nice. The Rad Beam was great though. I loved having extra counter like all game. People were not expecting 8 or 6 counter events.
Yeah, makes sense. Flex spots. What do you think are the flexible cards in here? Like what can you take out for something else?
Definitely the 10-drop Luffy. It won me the game against Lucci because he cleared I had a Dragon and a Sanji on board and clears both of those. And I had no board anyway, so I just take 2 turns and win that way because, it's Lucci there. They're not going to have 5 2Ks in hand. But
Lucci's pretty good.
I don't think there's not really that great into other matchups.
Yeah.
The Rayleighs were good. Other flex spots. I mean, I like a lot in this deck. It just really depends on the meta. Like, you just have to adapt to whatever the meta is. Whatever you think you're going to see the most of, you flex for that. So if I thought I was going to see a lot of Dofis, and whatever's your hardest matchup too. Like, I saw 3 Dofis and 3 Shanks, but like Shanks is walking the park through this deck. You want to see the Shanks.
I don't think I've ever seen an RP Luffy without the 7-cost kid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a permanent 6K. No new gates, no 7-cost kid. But
You can be a permanent 7.
I got 4 Gum Gum Giants and 2 Rad Beans. I got no counter.
What do you feel about Yasop in the...
I think Yasop's good, but it's just so hard to find space. Yasop's so much better with the 7-drop new gate, but because we're not playing that, it's like the Beckman's already clearing 6Ks. I don't really think there are that many 7Ks in the meta you want to clear.
Yeah.
And I'd rather, like, Queen's just better, right? Like, Queen just cycles 2 bricks and keeps Yasop, like, you... the other thing with this deck is you really want to make sure your cards in hand stays high.
Yeah.
Because the way they beat you is they just swing 6, 6, 6, 1 card, 1 card, 1 card. So if you can keep your cards in hand, you know, you play a body that doesn't reduce the amount of cards in your hand, you'll still be able to counter out of all those 6K attacks. So, like, you don't need to be 7 if you can just counter out of all the 6s.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because, like, Queens, Onami, Gum Gum Giants, they all keep the cards in your hand the same. And the Luffy.
Yeah. OP10. What do you think is going to be added for OP10? Or do you think it is even, like, viable in OP10?
I mean, OP10 is going to be rough because, you know, Zoro's going to be really good. Bella Betty's going to be really good. Bonnie's, like, this deck's worst matchup. So if you want a tech for Bonnie, you probably go heavier in, like, your 10 drops because I don't think that's staying. Probably play, like, 10 cost Pop Shanks because that's really good in the Bonnie. You go up on this stuff. Yeah, it's like now the meta's kind of shifted. You don't have to worry about Dofi. You don't have to worry about the super early aggression. So you probably do go more stall if you want to survive against like Zoro and stuff. You could get those 7-drop kids or the new gates in because Zoro has a lot harder time swinging up on you if you're 8 or 7.
Why is it bad in Zabane?
Bonnie rests your stuff and then they'll lock it with 10-drop Dofi. So then it doesn't matter if you have 3 big bodies on board. Nothing can swing. 9-drop Shanks clears anything. Zoro will just... You're 3 like leader Zoro. It's just like a death sentence. They drop a Zoro and it's like...
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're screwed. Swing what, like 15, 15, 15.
Go down 8 down with Gum Gum Giant.
You better hope you have the blockers at that point.
Yeah.
And Bonnie also, like the Cavendish is big. The Carrot will stun a lot of the decks.
Yeah.
Bonnie's just not good. I mean, now they got Smoker. Smoker will banish you, get your cards out.
Why do you like RP Luffy overall? Like, what enticed you to play RP Luffy for regional?
I don't know, I just wanted something fun, honestly. Like, I don't want to take like Dofi or Ploofy or something. Can't take Bonnie because I've never gotten the Cavendishes. So I'm not dropping.
Oh, you don't have Cavendishes?
No, I'm not dropping.
That's
like,
true.
Whatever, 100, 150 on Cavendishes. They're so expensive now.
They were like $15 at one point.
They were like 5 at one point when EB came out.
Yeah.
I was dumb and didn't buy them. I like to play more of like a control-y style too. I don't like super aggro. I like to be able to control the board and make... I like situations where I know I can't lose. You know?
Yeah.
Like half the time when you're playing aggro, you're like, all right, if they got the counter, I lose, you know? It's always a 50-50 where like you win
Zoro.
Well, I like to have situations where it's like, okay, I can do this. I know I'm safe for another turn, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Does RP Luffy want first or second usually?
Depends on the matchup. You usually want second because you want to play one of your 4-cost ramps, but you do want to steal first from certain matchups. I mean, Pluffy, you kind of want to let have first if you can see it's to die for, because then you get double ramp. Same with Dofi, but I think generally you want second. You want the extra card. Helps you get into, like, if you miss a ramp, you can still get into 9 on your 8 down turn.
Yeah.
So,
what do you want to look for in your first hands when you're playing RP Luffy?
Ramp, Beckman. You want some sort of ramp if you're going second. I mean, you want one of your 4-drop ramps, either your Bon Clay or Lead Performer. You want Beckman for sure, because you just want to ramp into Beckman and then into either one of your 9 or 10 drops. If it's like a more aggressive deck, you probably won't be able to play the Shanks. Well, no, the Shanks is good, really good at the Dopey. If you can survive, if you have enough like counters in your hand.
Yeah.
But, you know, if your hand's like, you got a giant and you got a bunch of bricks, you need to just play a 9 drop there and keep the 1 up.
Outside.
Yeah, that's kind of it. If you're playing into like Dofi or Floofy, you might want a hard mulligan for the 3 drop ramp. Floofy for sure, because they're always just gonna, if Floofy gets first, they just play Zoro Euro.
Yeah.
And then you get to go to 6, and you get to go to 8, which means you're at 9. So you're already putting out huge bodies.
What was your scariest match?
Either of the 2 Dofis, like it was just on the wire the whole time. I was just surviving through my teeth and was able to close out a win. The one Dofi I lost to just steamrolled me. Like it was no contest. He picked second, played out of teach, then like Jinbei Weevil, then like another Jinbei something else. Like you don't ever win those.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Take a Sanji.
Yep.
Take Giant.
Yep.
I think I can't pass up that card.
How do you feel about the consistency in RP Luffy?
I feel like it's fine. Your non-searchable stuff you just play 4 of, and then you see it most of the time. And then
Inside.
you got Giants, Queens, and Onami. You got a lot of cycles. I only lost 1 game to an unfortunate brick, but I think you got enough cycle. You're fine.
7.
All right, let's high roll. Unfortunate.
Here we go.
Swing 6.
That's it.
What distinguishes a good versus a bad RP Luffy player? Like, is there any like common mistakes that you see people?
Probably ordering. Your swing order and everything like matters a lot there. Like I waited to play the Bon Clay there because I know there's one of those new red events kills like a 2 or 3 KO trigger, and I want to have the Bon Clay on board.
That makes sense. I go 6.
Give you a Bon Clay. Let's just play another Bon Clay.
Oh man.
And then you're at 8 leader effect, and then we can queen.
Shit. I think we go Hody.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep your queen up. I'm gonna rest both the Bon Clairs. Take life.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'll go 2 at Bon Clair.
Either force the blocker or take a 2 character hand.
I think that's good.
Sure.
2 at the other Bon Clair.
Took one to save it. No, you have so many attacks. You got too many attacks.
Yeah. I mean, leader ability and or smoker ability. We stand 3. How do you beat Blackbeard as RP Luffy? Because there's somebody asking, you're saying like they don't know how. Especially
10 cost shanks are really good.
Especially moving into OP10, right? Because it gets worse.
I don't think Liberation hurts you that much because a lot of your stuff is bigger than 6. Yeah, you just kind of need to get enough bodies out on them.
8.
I'll take it. High roll. So we'll trigger Elite Performer, draw 1, draw a card.
Crazy. Play Rosie and pass. That's. How do you feel the ban list?
I think the ban list is good. Raigo is like a little bit weird, but I think the ban list is good. I think Moria needed to go so long ago. Jinbei's kind of sad to see reachable with, because Jinbei hurts Boa and like Zoro Sanji, but Dofi was abusing it. It was really fixing the downside of Dofi's leader ability. He let's do a giant. Just give you a red bean.
Yeah. I'll pass.
Alright. Yeah, this deck is hard to kill once you get your event situated.
Jesus.
Yeah, let's try it.
Oh my god. Yeah, rush.
So Hachi rest.
Oh, shit.
Alright, I got 3 bodies. This is perfect. I don't think you have like a Beige or anything. It's 5 lead.
Yeah.
7 lead?
+1K.
I found the red 15. Let's go. Did you see?
That was kind of dicey. I kept drawing like nothing, like just counters and nothing to play.
Dude, Not the Usohachi for the win. That's a is there any other things you want to say about RP Luffy, or just the deck in general, or anything else you want to say to anybody? Shout outs or
RP Luffy, I think it's a really fun deck. Just like ramping into extra Dawn, like never dying because you got Giants, you got 2Ks, once you get Shanks on the board. Like that's what I'm saying, just like an early Shanks and the rest of the game. I didn't play any other big bodies. I didn't draw any other big bodies besides the other Shanks. I guess you still get there, you counter out everything. Shoutouts, tons of shoutouts. Shout out the Chekas boys, Oasis, all the DMV locals. I think we have like one of the best areas in the country. We got all the Maryland stores, all the Virginia stores, all the boys. Shout out the Virginia boys. Shout out K-Town.
K-Town.
K-Town. Yeah. If you know, you know.
I don't.
Shout out, just my friends, my girlfriend, super supportive of me, going to Dallas and playing card games and not spending the weekend with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.